that kids with ADHD almost always choose the smaller reward now instead of waiting for something better later. It's not because they're being difficult, it's because waiting is actually a skill, and it's a very difficult skill for kids with ADHD. Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm a PhD behavior analyst. I've been working with children and families for over a decade, and I'm also a working mom of 2 kids with ADHD. It turns out that teaching kids with ADHD to value future rewards is incredibly important because a lot of impulsive behavior isn't just about knowing what to do. It's also about choosing what feels good right now over what's better later. In behavior analysis, we call this delayed discounting. Basically, the longer you have to wait for something, the less valuable that something feels. I had a moment with my son yesterday that was the perfect example of this. He had just finished tutoring and earned a gummy, but later that day we were going to the movies because the Super Mario fandom is big in this house and he loves movie theater cookies. So he asked if he could eat the gummy after tutoring, and instead of saying yes or no, I just said, you can have the gummy now, or you can wait and have cookies at the movies later. And that was it. We didn't follow that up with a lecture, with a power struggle. I just gave him a specific choice. My goal here was just to use the situation as a natural learning opportunity where he could choose between a smaller, immediate reward or a larger, more preferred, delayed reward. And then I just let him decide. This time he chose to wait for the cookies, which means he just practiced something really important, and that's tolerating delay and choosing a better long-term outcome, because movie theater cookies is not something that he gets often. And now here's the part that really matters. If he had chosen the gummy, that would have been totally okay, but that also means that I would have needed to follow through and not give access to the cookies later. And that's even if his sister had some cookies, because if both options lead to the bigger reward anyway, then waiting completely loses its value. This is where some of these lessons accidentally just tend to fall apart. As a parent, this skill is always very present for me because difficulty with waiting and impulsivity doesn't just show up in childhood for people diagnosed with ADHD. It can affect long-term relationships, work, and decision making. But for both their sakes and my own, I'm not trying to turn everyday life into one long therapy session. So instead, I do try to look for small moments like this that are already happening and use them. Now, if this is something that you haven't yet started practicing with your children, that's totally okay. Today or tomorrow is a great time to begin. You don't need to create anything that's super complicated, just start noticing the opportunities as they present themselves. For example, if your child asks to watch TV, you can say, sure, you can watch 5 minutes of TV now, or you can wait 5 minutes and watch 15 minutes of TV later. Now you've created a choice, and the key is to make it a very easy choice. Keep the delay small and then keep the reward very meaningful. Because when the gap is too big at the beginning, it doesn't really lead to effective practice. It just leads to frustration. And the goal here is to begin teaching the skill while avoiding big meltdowns. You're basically presenting your child with an offer that they cannot refuse while still giving them a sense of autonomy and control. And then over time, you can increase the amount of time that they're waiting or the complexity of the choice, and this is how that skill grows. Impulsivity may always be a part of your child's life with ADHD, but the ability to manage it and wait is absolutely something that they can learn. And honestly, if you're an adult with ADHD, this works for you too. You can basically use the same idea and then tailor it to some of the everyday things that come up for you. For example, maybe you see something that you want, and instead of saying no, you can say, I can buy this now, or I can wait a day and buy the same thing and throw in a little extra treat just to reward myself for waiting. You're not removing the reward, you're making the waiting worth it. If this gave you a practical way to work on impulsivity at home, please let me know in the comment. And if you want strategies like this that fit within your everyday life, grounded in behavioral science, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.